All right, cool. Can you turn off the something else that's echoing on your side?
On my side.
Okay, I think we're good now. Good morning, everybody. We're back at it. I'd just like to welcome everybody and thank you for joining us for this session. We are on week 4, and hey, we've hit what's the target? But you're going to update me because I might get the figures wrong this morning. I'm a bit shaky on my side. I'm in a very cold room, guys. My daughter took my room, the one where I normally operate from. I'd like to welcome everybody who's watching, especially on YouTube. This is the THUDmoney franchise Stokvel broadcast. When we started this a couple of weeks ago, it was with a simple mission. We've been having conversations offline amongst ourselves, and these conversations are centered around ensuring that we can have the average Joe participate in the industry in some form or another, you know. And we chose a vehicle for collective ownership of a franchise. And the reason we went that route is because we purchase food a lot, you know, as people. And we decided that how about we find a way, let's find a vehicle that can accommodate all of us and do something about it. And we decided that we're each going to collect 15,500 Rand and go and buy into a franchise from the food that we normally buy and see where we take it. And we, in that vehicle that we've set up, we've got a couple of people that are strategic to this pillar. So we've got Stokvel, led by Tsepo Moloi. Stokvel is the platform where majority of stokvels are found. So it drives transparency and it drives digitization of stokvels. And this is why we chose that platform, and we chose to partner with Tsepo because it helps us to drive efficiency in terms of what we're doing. And also for the future, we can be able to scale our solutions because we've got a technology platform. And then we've got Palengo Holdings, that being Palisa. Palisa is responsible for education of stokvels and cooperatives in general. She does financial literacy, and she's written a book on stokvels. So she's got in-depth knowledge on the governance processes of stokvels and cooperatives and how that industry should be functioning better when it's supposed to be functioning at an optimum level. So that's another core team member. And then we have Batabile. Batabile runs an organization called Tefte, and Batabile is a multi-franchisee. So she's the champion for this stream of what we're doing in the franchising space because she owns a few franchises. She understands the industry pretty well, and she can guide us and help us to navigate the space pretty well. And then you've got Thud. Thud is responsible for developing entrepreneurs. We're responsible for a couple of names that have come out there, be it the Lazy Makoti or Skinny Smooth Socks, or just a few other names that you can think of that have gone big in the industry, or Native Nosi. These are entrepreneurs who started out with ideas, and we had a platform where they could pitch their ideas, and we've been walking the journey with some of them and finding ways for them to leverage. And as they grow, we grow with them into the different facets of whatever that they need at each stage of their journey. So we've been very fortunate to grow into about 14 countries. We've set up another company on the side, which is a crowdfunding agency called the People's Fund, and we've done over 100 million Rand in revenue just in this financial year alone. It's a company that is co-owned by 5 other companies. So it just tells you we're in the space of bridging the gap, of leveraging, of making sure that people get together. And then today, our guests that I would like to introduce for this session, it's 2 of them, that being Batabile, who I've already given you a quick overview of who she is, and as well as Mr. Aneez Amod. He is the MD of Jimmy's franchise. I said that wrong. He's the MD of Jimmy's Killer Group. That is the right way to say it. And what I like about Mr. Amod more than anything is that he didn't start the journey in Jimmy's. He's been in the industry for quite a while. In 1982, he was already doing something in franchising. Can you believe that? So we have a lot of nuggets to get out of this and a lot to learn. So just a quick introduction on your side, guys. We'll start with the Batabile and then we'll come to Aneez.
Hi, Lebu. Thank you so much. Good morning to the viewers and to all our Stokvel members. I can see some of them, they are also watching. Yes, I've been a franchisee for about 6 years now. And with my first store, which started at the township of Olivenhout-Bosch in Centurion, Swane. So, yeah, so it's been a journey that I've learned a lot. And through the learnings as well, I've made some money. And within 2 years, I could expand to the Midrand branch where I opened a three combo store, which has three different outlets. Yeah, so it's been a very exciting journey and I'm still loving it. I'm still enjoying to be trading in the food industry. Despite the challenges that we are facing now, we are now innovating because I'm not just a franchisee, I'm also an entrepreneur to say when there are challenges, let's look to how we can take advantage of opportunities to kind of overcome that. That's what entrepreneurs we do most and that's what we love. So yes, there are challenges, but equally so, we are still surviving. People are still coming out to buy food. So I'll hand over now to Mr. Aneez to share about his brand. Thanks, Lebu.
Hi, thanks everybody. I'm very glad to be here. Lebo Batabile, thanks for inviting me. We've been through this journey with you guys for a while now, and I think we onto something very, very good. Let me tell you a bit about myself and about the Jimmy's Group. I started out in Frenching, Lebo, in 1984. I was 21 years old. So I'm in franchising now for the last 36 years or so. I've tried to get out of it. I thought this work is too hard, but it's in my blood and it's something that I love doing. I've been involved with the Jimmy's now for the last 21 years. It's been an exceptional journey, obviously like any other business. We had our ups and our downs. And I think we're on a growth path at the moment. We've sort of directed and our strategy seem to be working and we're going into the path that we want to go. And I'm very, very excited to be on this journey with you guys. I think it's something innovative. I think that this is something that we can really, really grow. And I think the potential for this is humongous. And the fact that we are going to grow in the locations, we are going to create a lot of employment. And I think, Batabila, hopefully we're going to make a lot of people very wealthy like you. And I think that's the objective here. Thanks.
Yeah. But Tabile, just a quick recap. Since we started this journey from a few weeks ago, what have been the learnings on your side? But Tabile? Okay. Let me highlight her on the side. But Tabile? Okay. Team, somebody reach out to Batabile. Batabile. There you go. She's back. Batabile, can you hear me now?
Oh, what was wrong?
Can you hear me now? Batabile.
Hi, Lebu. I keep losing you.
Yeah, now you're back. Please come back to me. Okay. All right. So what I would like to know from your side, Batabile, we started a few weeks ago. What are some of the learnings? What have you from engaging people, selling this idea?
Hi, Lebu. You seem to be breaking in between. Can you please repeat the question again? Yeah.
All right. So my question was, since we started this journey a couple what have you learned? What have you seen? How we've been engaging the community?
One thing I've learned most, I've seen that our community out there, they are ready to take not only entrepreneurship into as they are doing because I've seen that with our software, we've got a combination of entrepreneurs and people that are in corporate. So now I've seen that there's that now Ubuntu because people
love the idea that you won't only be owning the store, but you want to create jobs. So I think the whole community now, they are seeing the impact of job losses, and they want to also be on board to help not only ourselves, but to help the country at large. So that gave me more pride. And also, I'm learning a lot from their feedbacks because when I started investing into a business, it was 6 years ago, we didn't really have much of the challenges that we are having today. So the question that I posed when I was doing my research, they were a little bit less. For me, the question that it was like, can this business make money? But now we are facing with the pandemic of COVID-19. There are restrictions and things that we are even seeing so many businesses closing down, others retrenching. So this whole bringing a lot of people together is opening up more discussion that we need to want to also answer. So I'm kind of learning because that will also help me to kind of eliminate risk in my current businesses. So as the communities are asking questions to say, how are you gonna overcome this challenge? As much as we are looking into buying into new business, but such, I'm also applying them into my current businesses as well. If we look into things to say, how are we gonna be dealing with this? So now, since we are having less of people sitting down in our restaurant, what can we do to improve selling? So I've seen a growth in the delivery system. So such things that really is not only seeing the community wanting to help, but also we are learning from the communities who have never run businesses before. So it's a kind of a nice thing, to be honest.
That's lovely. How is the, and I'm throwing it to you because our other team members are not there, and this is for people to understand the process from the background. Ne? And then Aneez, I'm gonna come. The next question is gonna come to you. Just from an administrative perspective, dealing with so many people. I think when we initially put this message out, we had close to 700 people that have shown interest by Tabile. How is the admin in the background? Like, how are we dealing with it?
In the background, guys, the excitement that I is still there because every day I personally get over 5 people saying, I still want to join, can I still be part of this? Yes, we had 700 people who showed interest, and then we had over 130 people who paid. Some even paid in cash. I think 20% people contributed their 15,000 in cash. So to be honest, I didn't expect such a response. Even Jimmy got shocked. I missed that shocked the friend when we shared because I thought because we gave people 6 months to make the contribution, it was going to take us very slow. And in the past days, in the back office, we've been discussing to say, you know what, we're going to open the first store even earlier than what we had anticipated to say. We will open the first business in December. But now we are seeing, you know what, the way people are eager to see this come to life, the way people are really making contributions. So it shows that as much as we are having challenges, but people are ready to overcome these challenges because we cannot let these challenges stop us from living. So the excitement is still there from the community members. We are seeing support every day and we are receiving contributions every day. Even to the extent that we find family members even extending to pay for the other siblings who are unemployed. To say, can I make this contribution for my brother who can also be one of the shareholders? So we see now it's not only about us as entrepreneurs, the core companies that started the initiative, it's also extended to the family members, seeing opportunities for their other siblings and family members as well. So it's kind of really bringing the whole meaning of Ubuntu again, because we still need some positive news during this time.
All right, thank you for that. Aneez, coming to you. People are asking us, why are we choosing Jimmy's versus any other brand? So I would like you to educate us a bit about the Jimmy's brand, and specifically, since we're going towards Jimmy's Killer Express as the one that we're going to be buying, what is the science behind our decision making? Like, maybe you can just take us through a bit of understanding the Jimmy's brand, where it comes from, the performance and stuff like that.
You know, Lebo, a year ago, we looked at the whole franchising industry, and we said, what are the challenges facing for potential franchisees in the franchising industry? Why is it that less and less people are coming into the industry? And we went through the entire research on it, and the conclusion was, first of all, franchises are far too expensive. I think they're overpriced. That's one aspect. Secondly, we need to make sure consumers can afford the food that we sell in our brands. Thirdly, the type of food that we sell in our brands in terms of the menu and the various items on the menu. And something that we tend to forget is we always have the perception that if we give inferior food, it's got to be at a cheaper price. We said we're not prepared to do that. We want to give quality food, but at a reduced price. So we went out into the marketplace and started researching the franchise industry and came up with the brand Jamiskele Express. What we find with this particular brand is that, first of all, as you guys know and everybody watching knows, is that the setup cost is way below any other brand out there. Having said that, we don't give a lower setup cost and give an inferior store. Your store will look just as good and as nice as any other brand out there. So we're not taking away the quality of the store. We do not give you inferior equipment. The equipment is as good as you can get in the marketplace. In fact, we've improved the equipment that we give our stores currently. When we talk about the menu, we're working between a 55 and 60% gross profit, which in today's marketplace is almost unheard of. But the way we design the menu, we have to achieve these gross profits for us to achieve our net profits. So we managed to get that right. Secondly, we said, where is the growth market today? We know that trying and targeting the upmarket areas, etc., is saturated. Everybody is targeting that 1%. And I think at the moment, even the wealthy people can't spread their wealth fast enough for everybody to be sustainable. And we said, listen, we need to get into the location market. This is where the people are. But in order to get into that market, it's got to be affordable. It's got to be good. You know, and our philosophy, Lebo, is it doesn't matter who your customer is, whether they can afford 15 Rand or 150 Rand, they need to get exactly that same experience. They need to walk into a shop where they're going to be respected, given a decent meal, an affordable meal, and a high quality meal. And so I think that what you guys are doing fits in absolutely 100% perfectly with our strategy and where we want to be as a brand. Currently, we're on the growth spurt, which is very unusual today, considering COVID and the economy, etc. Currently, we're opening a store a month. There'll be 2 months for the rest of the year. We'll be opening 2 stores in a particular month. So we've got 7 stores planned. I had 17 stores planned for this year. Obviously, a lot of stores fell by the wayside with the whole COVID pandemic and the entire lockdown. But yeah, we got 7 stores to do before end of the year, which includes one in Botswana as well. So I think we've got the right brand for the right market, working with you guys, and I think it's something that can really work. On Monday, we open our store in Diepsloot at the Chuma Mall, and I think that will also give us a very good gauge in terms of where we're heading, and if there's any tweaking that needs to be done to make sure the brand is completely aligned with the market that we're serving.
Yeah. One of the questions that keep coming up is that landlords in malls are struggling, you know, and why are we tying ourselves into long-term leases or getting into a business that will require us to get into a long-term lease when anything can happen at any given point because of things like COVID and the changes in the marketplace and stuff like that? How do we respond to somebody like that when such a question is posed?
You know, Lebo, our philosophy is we've got our business model. We prepare to pay a certain amount of rentals on certain sites. We negotiate as hard as we can with the landlord to get the rentals that we want.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, if we cannot get the rentals that we want and we know the business model is not going to work, well, we just don't go into that site. It's as simple as that. One advantage we do have, and I think this is an advantage from COVID that has come out, is that landlords are struggling to fill their malls. We know that shops are closing down, whether they retail or food shops. Stores are closing down, unfortunately. So I find that landlords have become a lot more negotiable. So I think that it's actually the right time to go in there and fight for rentals. Look, we've done 3 leases in the last week, Lebo, and every single one of those leases, the landlords or the center management have agreed to the terms and conditions we've put down because they need good tenants. And we know going in with a strong franchise brand, the landlord has the chances of him getting his rental over the next 5 years is better than going in with an independent who may not pay his rental. So that sort of thinking has also helped us in terms of negotiating with landlords. So, like I said, if the rental structure doesn't suit us, we just don't go into that mall, and we find another site in the area. And 9 times out of 10, we do find another site and we proceed.
Yeah. On average, a brand like Jimmy's Killer Express, how many jobs does it create?
Level anything from 10 to 15 people, depending on the turnover of the store.
Okay.
Obviously, the higher the turnover, we can go up to 18 people, depending on the hours as well. Many stores will start trading at 7 in the morning, and then we have some stores that start trading at 11 in the morning. So depending on the hours of trading and things, it can be anything from 10 to 18 people, Lebo.
But Sabile, I just want to make sure that you can hear me. Wave. Making sure. We started with our site search. And there's a fact. I'm gonna mute you and then unmute you when you answer the question. There's some feedback that's coming in there. So we've started with our site search. We started advertising, I think it was early last week after we met with Aneez. In fact, we did the ad at your shop, Aneez.
Yeah.
What are you finding, Bathabile, to be responses in the marketplace with regard to us looking for a site? What type of feedback are we getting? And what needs tweaking from our side from a messaging point of view? I think sometimes what we often do is that we put out messaging to the public, but the responses that come out become something else. And how are we adapting to that? How is our site search going?
Okay, I think our first thought, maybe the communities are still in, what can I say? They're still overwhelmed with seeing only franchises in the urban areas, because I've seen a lot of people, when they recommend a site, it's in an urban area. And we were specific to say we would like to have Jimmy's in a township. There isn't really much of Jimmy's in a township here, but we want to take Jimmy's brand into the township if Jimmy's has agreed. So I think it has just been people just being familiar with seeing a franchise in a certain in urban areas. That's why they will normally recommend such places. So I think we should just be highlighting more to the community to say the location. It should be either a mall, a shopping center, or a small stores. Remember those old chain stores that we grew up buying from. Some of them are closed down. So even if we've got such that there is traffic in next to the community. So we just need to emphasize again to the community to say we didn't make a mistake. Maybe sometimes we are thinking, it was just an oversight from our side. We want this brand to be in the township because we want to employ people in the township and not travel out of the township to go to work. We want people to have a decent working environment in a specific township. So the sites we have not really seen, I think it was 1 or 2 that we must see if it's suitable, but where they actually are mentioned a township, but a lot has been out of the township.
All right, Aneez, back to you. So we've got this strong agenda to go into townships when it comes to the launching the franchise. I would just like to understand from a historical point of view, and it can even be generic from just an industry analysis on your part. How are franchises performing in the townships?
Lebo, that the franchises in townships are very, very, very different to the upmarket areas, if I may call that. What we find in the location market is that we will see a lot more feet coming into our stores, spending less than we would in an affluent area. But stores are performing well. I think the potential is really, 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 really great. because of the feet. And I think in any business, especially in the food franchise business, what we do need is feet walking into our stores. So I think that the model that we created for the location market is going to work well, because I think we have a lot of feet. We have the menu, like I mentioned earlier. We have the pricing structure that is in place. So I think it's a model that works well. One of the stores that I can equate the model to, Lebo, is in Mercado, in Louis Trichardt. And we converted the store from a Jeremy's Killer Fish and Chips to a Jeremy's Killer Express, where we increased the menu, we did the revamp, and we put in a new look and feel. And in the first month, the store more than doubled its average turnover. So that tells you that the model we have now is a lot more successful than the one we had previously. So I'm very confident that we're in the right space.
Okay. I just want to give a quick update. Something happening with her microphone. All right. So, guys, just so that you've got context as to where we are with the now. There's a bad echo. Can you hear that, Aneez? Like everything I say, there's an echo that comes.
Sorry, I didn't hear you, Lebo.
No, I'm saying there's an echo that keeps
Can you repeat,
coming up. So I'm not sure whether that's Habida's earphone.
Yes.
No, don't worry. So, yeah. So what I wanted. What? This is a mess. Thank you. All right. So what I wanted to update us on, for the members that have paid into the franchise Stokvel so far, is that we had, when we cut off, we had 123 people that had paid, at least the minimum amount that must have gone into this. And then we sent out emails to communicate this. And obviously there's a top 100 that needed to be chosen, because each Stokvel will consist only of 100 members that equally own the franchise. And what we came out with for the top 100, the amount, which includes bank fees, is 685,000 Rand, 948 and 47 cents. That's what the top group has put aside. And what you are going to see if you happen to be a member, for those that are watching, is that we've moved the 100 members with their money into a separate group, and that group is called the cooperative. So it's THUDmoney franchise co-op 1. That's going to be the first one. And they're moving there. So what we are going to be doing next, and what the team is busy with in the background, they're deleting all of those members from the collective group, which is the original group where everybody can see everything in there. So what that means for you is that for each group that graduates into 100 members, you're going to come out of the common group where everybody joined, and in that group where you move into, where it allows us to formalize, because for a cooperative to actually buy into a franchise, it needs to be a legal organization, and that's the process that we are going through. So that registration is going to be taking place. We're going to be communicating separately and privately, specifically to these members. And what you will not see anymore, you will see the amounts go down. I wanted to log in now just to see quickly what the amounts look like. But what you will see is that the amount in the generic group is going to go down. It's not because we're making any claim. It's because that money is moving with the members into where they paid into. And if you're a member in the new co-op, you're going to get a new number. You're going to get a new reference number to make the rest of your payments if you haven't paid in full. And then the people that remain in the collective group, you are going to continue contributing up until we have 100 members that have paid. Once we have a top 100, we move that group and we set up a second cooperative. So each co-op will buy its own franchise. I'm hoping that I'm giving clarity and making sense around that, because it's a very critical step. Now, Aneez, coming back to you, what gave you the interest or made it easy for you to want to consult or engage a group like us? Because I don't think the franchising industry is actually ready to engage groups, and we're quite a sizable group of 100 people, 100 shareholders who are coming to you and saying, we're raising capital cash and we want to buy into a franchise. want to engage you. Just from the rules of engagement and traditionally how franchises work and how you are engaging us, like what makes you, what gives you an appetite for this?
You know, Lebo, obviously, initially when I spoke to Batabile and she came with the whole structure, my first question was, how do I deal with 100 franchisees that own one store? Obviously, I normally deal with 1 or 2 people who buy a franchise, and things get done pretty easily. The structures are in place. So my question to Batabile was, how do we deal with 100 people? And then you guys came up with the structure where the Stokvel actually creates a co-op. Then my question was, if all the members are part of the co-op, do I still deal with 100 people? And then we went on to the fact that you will create a board of directors of 4 or 5 people who will then deal with the legalities in terms of the franchise agreement, with all the legalities that I need. Obviously, I had to go and consult my lawyers, as this is very innovative level. This has never been done in this country. It is something new. I had to make sure that the interest of the brand is secured, and we do not have any repercussions, etc., etc. After doing the research with the attorneys, the structure that you guys had in place seemed to work for us, where we will have the directors of the co-op who will actually sign the franchise agreement and all the legal documents that I need. And you guys will be the franchisees representing the members of the co-op. So, you know, that structure does simplify things for us in terms of who do we deal with. Yes, going on, we may have some issues regarding the operations of the stores. I may want to deal with 1 person regarding the operation of the stores, dealing with 5 people, for example. So those are structures we can put into play, Lebo, once we start operating the first stores. I think it's easier to do it then than to try and do it before. I think we'll make mistakes. So once the store's up and running, we'll use this one here as our test model. And we can say, okay, guys, for the next store, this is how I think things are going to work. And we can sit together and put structures together. But the fact that this is something innovative, something new, I think I'm prepared to take the brand into this. I'm prepared to go with it, because there are risks involved, but I don't think the risks are so high that it's going to doom and gloom for you or doom and gloom for us. I think it's something that can work very, very successfully. And like I mentioned to you guys before, I want to create employment, and I want to do something innovative. I want to grow the brand, like you guys want to grow the brand as well. So, I'm looking for opportunities to grow the brand, and this is an opportunity for me and for you. So in my opinion, this is a win-win situation for everybody.
All right. No, that sounds great. Now, I also want to understand, given the communities that we are going into and the type of menus that are on offer, how flexible are we when we get into a particular space, especially in townships, and we find that the traditional menu that we've offered is not, like, people are not buying into it the way that we anticipated it. Like, how do we work around such things? Like, where are the limitations and what's the flexibility? Just trying to understand, what can you do and what can't you do once you get into a space like that? And this is for the benefit of our members.
Lebo, we're already doing that. Okay, I think we're one of the very, very few brands that don't have a stock standard menu for every single outlet. Whether you got a store in Senton or whether you got a store in Alex, we don't do that. Every one of our stores, which is a major admin hassle on our side, but I rather have my store successful by me tweaking a menu. So every one of our stores that we have, probably 90% of the menu is standard, but we allow 10% to deal with that specific market. It might be 2 stores in the same area, but they have different customers. So we are already adapting menus. I mentioned the store in Mercado, Louis Trichat, earlier. Because we got a predominantly lower LSM customer, we've introduced things like fat cook. We also introduced pap and gravy. Instead of doing a quarter and half chicken, for example, we also introduced pieces of chicken. So somebody can walk into our store, have a piece of chicken in a pap for 15 Rand. So, Lebo, to answer your question, we are very, very flexible to meet market requirements, as long as the product is approved, sanctioned by us, and it's a Jimmy's product. It's nothing that's not on our menu. We are very well prepared to change the menu, adjust the menu to meet market requirements.
All right. I think we'll keep today's episode short. I'm quite happy with the feedback that we've gotten so far. And what I would like to encourage everybody who's watching is that these are bangan bako. We're walking a journey that where we're learning a lot. And I remember Pumzile said it best last week when we had our live stream, that it's important to make note for everybody that this is a learning journey for everyone, including ourselves, that we're going to make mistakes along the way. But what we are going to do is be transparent about the process and take people on the journey with us along the way. Seppo just updated me on what the figures look like inside the group. So if you are inside both groups and you're thinking there's a bit of confusion, the two amounts that the amount that you're going to see in the THUDmoney franchise Stokvel is 132 Rand, is 132,574 and 25 cents. And we're still going to move, I think, about 2 or 3 more members so that it completes to the figure that we're communicated. In the THUDmoney franchise co-op 1 group, the 656, 669 and 28 cents. So there's money in there that is currently being moved into the cooperative group, which then the journey begins for the next steps of engaging members, formalizing and making sure that we're moving a whole lot quicker. And I think what excites me is that we had anticipated that we're raising this money to buy the first franchise in November, to launch it in December. You can come. My daughter's here, guys. What's going to happen now is that we're potentially going to launch a store in September. Highly, highly possible. Why? Because majority of the members came in and didn't pay the minimum. They paid far more than the minimum. And that is an important show of force. Like, they're showing commitment to the journey. They're showing that, no, we want to play. We're ready to play. And we understand what is happening in the space. And you guys lead us. We're trusting that you guys are going to be responsible with our money. You're going to do the right things, and you're going to be transparent with the process. So we are taking that, and we're realizing that people are taking us serious for what we have said. And therefore, our side is to continually educate everybody, to continually inform and make sure that we are all coming along for the journey. But Sabina, what's next? What's next to look out for? I think she froze there. I'm going to let her go. Aneez, I would like to thank you for joining us today. Hopefully we can have a follow-up session. Let's say in a month's time. We're obviously going to have a lot of conversations offline, but let's see what happens with the progress in the meantime. And then we'd like to have you for a follow-up session, just as a status update around whether our store search, the site, whatever that will be happening.
Yeah, great. Also, there's also a lot that we can elaborate on. And if people can sort of send questions through for the next meeting, things they're unsure of, etc., you can send me those questions and I can reply them on air, so that we can have people have peace of mind. And because look, everything needs to be completely transparent here. Yeah. I know what I want people to feel very comfortable that they're getting into something where they know exactly where they're putting their money, and they got to feel safe and secure. And I think to me that is very, very important.
Yeah. You heard it, guys. Please shoot the questions as much as possible, because how else are we going to answer more questions unless they're coming from you? And we're definitely going to put out a questionnaire to get people to throw in those questions. Thank you so much. Have a great one, Aneez.
All right. Thanks, Debo. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Ciao.